welcome to a brand new edition of T Watches a Scary Movie. My name is T, and we are talking scary movies. Appreciate you tuning in for another brand new review. Remember, new episodes always go up every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, where I'll talk things like movie and TV news. I'll have interviews for you guys sometimes, and of course, my own opinion pieces. But throughout the week, I'm going to be putting up my actual reviews for movies or TV shows that we're going to be covering for you. So the best way to stay on top of all of that is to get subscribed to my link tree. And you can do that by going to linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you get subscribed to my link tree, it'll give you access to my YouTube page for the video versions of the show, to your favorite podcasting platforms for the audio-only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for my written reviews and movie rankings throughout the year, to my TikTok page for my short horror content, including movie news and me at movie premieres, to my Twitch page where you can catch all of my horror gaming, including The Thing coming up very soon here, and to my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy my 20% off discount for anything in the Fangoria shop, including a subscription to the physical magazine. Take advantage of that. Hit that subscribe button, especially if you are watching on YouTube. As more subscribers I get, more content I bring out for y'all. So what are we talking about here tonight? Well, we just got done going over the best of so far in 2024, or at least the honorable mentions. Next week, you'll actually get a chance to hear what I think is the best of the year thus far. But we're in the second half of the year. We got a lot of strong horror still coming out for us, a lot of stuff to be excited about for sure. And the first big release of the second half of the year in regards to horror is A Quiet Place Day 1. And y'all, I am so excited to jump on into this with y'all, so let's not waste any time. You know the way this works. If you haven't seen the trailer for this one here, A Quiet Place Day 1 tells the story of the first day of the alien invasion that the Quiet Place franchise focuses on. This time, it'll go to the city of New York, where we focus on a young woman named Sam, who ends up, by happenstance, running into another New Yorker named Eric, and the two will have to work together if they want to survive and find a way out of the city. And there it is. Now, the one thing I will say, not that my descriptions of these films ever truly explain all the gravitas that it could have, it could not be so far off here for A Quiet Place Day 1. Y'all, this film is incredible. You know, if you look back at the first two entries in the franchise, both of which I really do enjoy, and I know both entries have a lot of detractors as well, but it's usually a well-regarded series. It's always focused on, you know, this family that suffered this great tragedy at the beginning of the first Quiet Place film and had this strained relationship. And this movie was really about them mending these relationships and about admitting feelings to each other and saying things that need to be said in order to put this family back together. And the backdrop for that was there's this alien invasion that this family is living amongst. These alien creatures, they hunt off sound, so if they hear any kind of sound, they attack it, they find it immediately, you know? And the second film moved away from that family drama. And that might be one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't really like it. It's still a story about healing for sure. But the second movie really did what a lot of franchises do, and that is, now that we have the established lore, we can kind of tell more like stories about whatever we're focused on, like whatever that MacGuffin is going to end up being. And again, it's the alien creatures. And so the second movie really focuses on, all right, well, we've made it through our family drama. Can this family be a part of figuring out how we really can fight back against these alien creatures that have just decimated the earth at this point? And again, I can fully acknowledge that being one of the reasons why folks might not have the biggest regards when it comes to A Quiet Place Part 2. I still really enjoy it. I think they're both really, really good movies. But the thing about it is that you can only tell so many of those stories. Like, the whole thing would be, you kind of then have to tell the same story just with different people, which isn't necessarily a bad idea, but will that emotional impact still be there? And I have to imagine that, Krasinski was trying to be very, very protective of that emotional element that these films do so well, honestly. And so Michael Sarnowski, who some of you might know from the movie Pig, came on for directing and writing duties this time around and crafted what honestly is the most emotionally beautiful story this franchise has told thus far. This is truly a story that I think is going to end up being one of the absolute best of the year, because you wouldn't expect it from a film like this, and I don't want it to use that like a crutch, like, oh, just because it's a sci-fi horror film, it can't tell a story like that. That's not really what I mean. I guess I just mean that the first two movies had these emotional impacts and investments in them, but there's going to be and this is no offense at all to any of the crew or anybody involved or anything like that, but I do think there were better stories that were being told the years that The Quiet Place and The Quiet Place Part 2 both came out. Love those movies. Just better stories being told throughout that year. And A Quiet Place Day One, this story is one that is really going to be in that upper echelon by the time that the end of the year comes around. I think this is really going to surprise a lot of people, because yes, we still have the familiar backdrop of these aliens who are hypersensitive to sound. They'll attack anything on sight. And because this is the first day, this is literally the start of this invasion, nobody knows anything about it. So these characters really have to adapt or they die. This is not years later where folks have really worked out the systems and know what they can and can't do or anything. And so that backdrop is still there, but realistically, just like that first movie did, there's a bigger story being told with the aliens just there as that backdrop to that story. And that story really is focusing on these two broken people that are really trying to put their pieces back together. Sam is somebody who is in hospice and who is dying, is terminally ill. And Eric is this person who is in New York to be this lawyer and doesn't know himself. And, if you're living in New York, a city of so many people who go there for their dreams and make something of themselves, and you're there and you don't know who you are, what does that do for you? What does that do for your spirit? And so these two people end up by chance running into each other by Sam's fantastic, cutest kitty in the world there, Frodo. And it's really like, you don't need to look at it as like this love story, but just this emotional, powerful story of two people meeting and how they change each other's life. That's a story, that's a movie that we've seen a few times before, and it's this amazing story. And it really is this case because, we get to see Sam and Eric go on this journey, and they get to visit all these places in New York together. And there's these times to where things aren't great, and Sam doesn't want Eric with her. And other times to where Eric really has to have Sam help him with this deep-seated fear that he has within him. It's just this beautiful story of these two people who have been struggling so hard at life, really finding and helping each other, give each other hope in this world. And that's so crazy. That's so crazy to tell a story that amazing while there are these aliens in the background massacring and killing absolutely everything. And again, y'all, I mean, Lupita Nyong'o has been somebody who is just amazed in every single role that she has shown up in, every single one. And I always feel that she is she's undervalued, I feel, almost in Hollywood, to the fact that she should get more recognition than she really does. And I really, really do hope that folks take notice of her performance in this, because it is the absolute best of this year. It is that's the bar. She has set the bar, I feel, for performances this year. And not to be left behind, Joseph Quinn, man, I think that a lot of people had high expectations for him because he's such a, like, he comes off, like, in his interviews and, like, when you see him doing, like, conventions and everything, as, like, this really great, genuinely good guy. And from the stuff that we've seen him in so far, and I think everybody will probably focus on Stranger Things, you know, there's clearly, like, this talent there, and this guy has, like, these bigger things set out for him. And it's kind of crazy to think that, you know, I know Marvel's not the thing that it used to be at this point. I still love me some MCU, but I know Marvel's not the thing it used to be. But it's still, like, a really big thing. And him getting the role of Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, that's huge. That's really huge. That's a very big fan favorite, and he's gonna have to do really good in that role. But the thing is that I could care less about that at this point, because Joseph Quinn just also put in a game changer of a role here in this film as well too, y'all. You know, it's crazy, the chemistry that these two have in this film, and the fact that they're, like, we see as Eric throughout this film struggles with this fear that's within him of, you know, being attacked and just being hurt, and how much Sam is able to help him with that and work through that, and he keeps pushing through it. And what I thought was actually so interesting, and it was a moment that I don't know if a lot of people notice, is that they kind of do it in reverse, because one of the first things that Eric ends up doing for Sam is going and getting medicine for her. And, you know, considering these fears that Eric has that we get to see throughout the film, it's something that it would, like, be harder for him to do. And he just does it. He just does it to save Sam's life. And I don't know, something about that. I love the way that was written, to where he immediately was willing to do something like that. And yet still, you know, it's like the adrenaline wore off, or like the goggles came off or something. The fog cleared, and then Sam had to really start helping him to get back up to that point again. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I definitely cried a couple times in this film. It is an incredibly powerful film for sure. And of course, you know, get to the stuff that, you know, you guys all want to hear and everything as well too. There is some really good jump scares in there. I think there are some of the best jump scares of the year in this film here for sure. It has way more of the aliens in it, and like somebody said recently that, like, you know, if, like, this is like how Alien is the Aliens, basically, and that's honestly a good description of it. There is no lack of these aliens there, and I like the idea of showing way more of them out there, because it just makes it a little bit more interesting to see the things that they'll do when there's more of them together, honestly. And there's a lot of really good callbacks in this film as well. Like, it doesn't leave behind the fact that just because it's a prequel, it's ignoring, you know, anything from the future. Like, no, I'll just outright let you know, like, as far as I'm aware, I didn't see any cameos from anybody that wasn't Jaimin Hansu. Which really, his role really amounts to an extended cameo. Man, y'all need to give my boy something, man. Please give him something. That dude has been working hard for so long. Give him something juicy, man. But I didn't see any cameos from anybody else in the Quiet Place movies. But there are some good callbacks to some of those, including, you know, a really beautiful scene where Sam ends up encountering a couple of lost children and helps him out, which it is a great callback. Very beautiful scene. Very beautiful scene. God, I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm trying to keep these things short for you guys, honestly. This has all the best parts of what you have liked in A Quiet Place, like, so far, without any of the worst parts of what you say you would not like about this franchise so far. It is, without question, the best of the franchise. It is the best movie of these 3 Quiet Place movies that are out there. All respect to our filmmakers, cast and crew of the other 2. This is the absolute best. And folks, not only that, this is one of the few. There's another spider on the ground. We have to pause really quickly. God. Yeah. Whew. All right. compose myself. I didn't scream this time. Where was I before that spider rudely interrupted me at the risk of its own life? Not only do I think that A Quiet Place Day One is the best of the Quiet Place franchise without question, this is absolutely the best horror film I have seen all year. That is how good it is, y'all. That is honestly how good this movie truly is. It is unexpected in all of the best ways, hitting franchise highs, and again, none of those lows. And honestly, y'all, this will be in my best of just overall list, I have to feel, by the time we hit December 31st. I have one other movie that I've given 5 stars to this year. One. This is the second film I've given 5 stars to this year. I've watched a lot. Haven't seen everything, but I've been watching a lot, y'all. So do with that what you will. Go and see A Quiet Place Day One and tell me what you think about it, all right? I want to know, after you see it, where do you rank it, all right? Let me know how you feel about that, y'all. And make sure to hit that subscribe button. That's it for tonight. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared. Here is a big fan of Fangoria. So, if you want to check out the world's best horror magazine that's out there, get a chance to get yourself your own subscription, which I just got my first one back in 2022, and I don't regret it for a second. But if you want your own Fangoria subscription, or you like the Fangoria merchandise, then head over to the Fangoria shop and use my link if you want to save yourself some money, folks. That's an easy one to remember. Just go to shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW. Again, that's shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW, or use my specific code AXDEW at checkout. You can save 20% off your entire order, and that implies 2 subscription and one-time orders as well. You don't want to miss out, folks, because with the magnitude of horror movies we've had released in the last few years, and with what we have on the horizon, Fangoria is going to be your #1 source for all that great, juicy, bloody information in the world of horror. So again, head to shop.fangoria.com. Hey there, folks! Thanks for tuning in to T Watch This Scary Movie. I appreciate you checking out another review or movie news, whether we're talking movies, TV shows, books, or games, whatever, it's all scary. Remember, you can check out new episodes every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the YouTube page for video. That's youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. Again, youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. And you can check out the audio version on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search T Watch the Scary Movie or TWASM. Don't forget, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.